Good evening, friends. Good evening, and welcome to Unacademy. This is CA Devang Kothari, and we are here today for a session on how to best score in your exam this year. So let me know how many of you are here. Let me know, am I audible? Welcome, welcome. Good evening, Deepa. Good evening, Minakshi. Hemant. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. So how are you? How have you been studying? Studying hard. Shashank, hello. Hetal, good evening. Welcome, welcome. Let me know, am I audible, visible? Hello, Riddhi. Welcome. Shashank starting after a break now. Oh, Shashank, why break? The exams are in May 22. You cannot afford a break now. Good evening, Riddhi. Okay, let me first start by showing you what I have just displayed over here. This is something that is actually very inspiring for me, and I hope it will help you also. I saw that in the movie, of course, but then I came to know it really happened in the life of Milkha Singh. Yes, the if you have watched the movie, it has been shown in the movie this particular incident when Milkha Singh is racing against the Pakistan speedster, Pakistan pacer Abdul Khalik, and Abdul Khalik's coach tells Milkha Singh that Milkha, Janab, this could be your. Yes, Deepa, I'm explaining that to you. I know some of you may not understand Hindi, but I'll just explain that to you. Milkha Singh's opponent was Pakistani pacer Abdul Khalik, and Abdul Khalik's coach is telling Milkha Singh just before the race begins. Just before the race begins, Khalik's coach tells Milkha Singh that Milkha, this could be your last race. मिल्खा ये आपकी जिंदगी का आखिरी रेस हो सकता है. Meaning, this could be your last race. He tried to indicate that Milkha, if you lose this race, then you might lose all credibility, and you might even not get chance to compete again in any race. And the beautiful reply Milkha Singh gives is that Milkha Singh simply replies that yes, I will run as if it is my last race. I will run as if this is my last race. Well, for you guys, CA final exam is your last exam. In fact, in fact, I believe that your attempt of Riddhi, November batch, I'll just come back to you, Riddhi. Sorry for that distraction. I would rather suggest that your attempt, this May attempt, or whichever attempt you are gonna give, consider that your attempt is going to be the last ever attempt that you will give. You make your preparations as if this is going to be your last attempt, first and last attempt. Look, Institute says that you are having more attempts possible. You can give next attempt if you don't pass in this time. Yes, that is true, but that is not to be considered before writing the paper. Right now, during your preparation time, you give these exams as if this is going to be your last attempt. Make your preparations so strong, leave no stone unturned. Leave no topic untouched. Don't leave anything an option. Make this attempt so strong that this will be your first and last attempt, as if you are not going to give exams ever again. CA final is the final destination. This is the last exams of your life. That's why this statement makes so much sense. Yes or no? Yeah. Anyways, so with that, let us begin with what we are planning in this particular session. So in this session, I'm going to guide you some strategy building tips, some strategy things regarding how to make this your highest scoring attempt. Strategy session for May 22 exam students. Riddhi, Riddhi, for you, let me announce that for November 22 exam, new batch is not supposed to start soon. But Riddhi, for November 22 exam, my batch had already started in January. That batch, I completed only 20 days in that batch, and that batch has been on a break since last 1.5 months, and I'm resuming that batch, Riddhi, from tomorrow. Yes, the January batch I'm resuming back from tomorrow. I'll be starting with the chapter of decision making only on Unacademy app. Yes, so if you want to start classes for November 22, Riddhi, I suggest you join this January batch. We're starting with a fresh chapter, and it is a chapter in which anybody can join in. Okay, November 22 exam batch starts tomorrow with the January 22 with the January started batch itself. Okay, Riddhi, for fees, you'll have to log on to the Unacademy app and check out the subscriptions. Just wait a moment. I'll give you some announcements about the subscriptions also. I'll give you some announcements for the subscriptions also. In fact, Riddhi, now that you have asked, let me give you some details about the subscriptions. Yeah. Before I begin, let me announce certain formal announcements here. Unacademy is proud to launch the Iconic program. Iconic program is like the Plus subscription. It is the premium subscription beyond the Plus subscription. Really, on Unacademy, we have two types of subscription plans. Plus subscription is the normal subscription, and the premium subscription is the Iconic program. Yeah, Iconic is the premium one. It is a little more expensive subscription, but you get extra benefits in that. Riddhi, if you log on to the Unacademy app, it will give you the pricings of all the types of subscription. You can watch my lectures on both these subscription, Plus subscription as well as Iconic subscription. Okay? Under Iconic program, you will be given additionally a live mentoring platform. Live mentoring where there will be one-to-one doubt solving sessions, there will be evaluated test series, there will be printed copies of the books which are given to you, and you will have all the routine benefits of the Plus subscription. You see this down here? These are all the regular benefits of Plus subscription. Live classes you can attend weekly, tests will be there, study materials will be given, unlimited access you will get, and structured courses, a full-fledged structured course will be there in which that on one single course page your entire syllabus can be covered. Okay? Under the live mentoring platform, you'll be having a test series which is evaluated test series. Evaluated meaning that meaning test papers, the test will be conducted and the papers will also be checked. Yeah, we'll also be checking your papers. 3 tests will be conducted. First at 40% syllabus completion, second test at 80% syllabus completion, third at 100% syllabus completion. After every test, there will also be an analysis class, and there will be personal guidance and feedback from the experts regarding your performance in the paper. Okay. This is the pricing for the Iconic subscription. Riddhi, this could be the pricing for Iconic subscription. Plus subscription will be priced lesser than this. You can check that out on the Unacademy app. But don't forget to use the code YashasLive. Use this code YashasLive. It will give you additional 10% discount on the subscription. Yeah, extra 10% discount you will get. This is for group 1. Same pricing for group 2 and same code YashasLive you can use to get 10% discount on the subscription. You can also go for combo subscription, group 1 plus group 2 combined. Again, use code YashasLive to get 10% discount on your subscriptions. Okay? Okay. Now, coming back to my strategy session here. So, what we are going to cover in this session? Well, total 1 hour session. Total 1 hour session in which I will be covering strategy under 4 categories. Okay? Riddhi, Sir, all subject foundation. Riddhi, this was regarding CF final. Riddhi, are you asking for CF foundation? Well, Riddhi, CA Foundation details you will get on the Unacademy app. You can download the app, use my code, use code Yashas, or you can use code YashasLive. Any code you use, it will give you access to certain free lectures, and for the paid lectures, you'll have to get the subscription. Okay? Yep. Okay. My discussion here, my session here is basically for CA final. So let me tell you what am I going to cover here. I'm going to cover the exam writing strategy mainly for CA final. Sorry, I forgot to mention that this will be for CA final. Mostly for CA final, but strategies can work for all exam levels. Okay. रिद्धि 12th पेपर अभी complete हुआ. Okay, Riddhi. I see that, Riddhi. So you are in for foundation exam. You can check out the Unacademy app and get the details for CA foundation. Okay. And Rohit, how to score maximum in taxation? Well, Rohit, the suggestions that I'm going to give you today will work for any subjects. See, what I'm going to cover right now is these suggestions. Out of that, first three are general suggestions for any subject. First three are general suggestions for any subject, and the last one is particularly only for my subject of SCMPE. Okay, but Rohit, as I said, general suggestions will work for any subject. I'm going to draft your strategy under these stages. Step one: pre-exam study strategy. How will you study before the exam? Like you have one month, almost 1 month before the exam. I think 14th, 15th May 14th and 15th May, your exams are starting, inter or final exams. So, pre-exam strategy for that. In exam answering strategy, during the exam, how would you answer your paper? That I'll cover. Plus, certain paper writing and presentation tips I'll give you, and then certain specific tips for the costing paper. Okay? So, starting with the first stage, pre-exam study strategy. Now, pre-exam, see, you have now almost 1 month before the exam. Naturally, I'm very sure that you must have all already made an exam timetable. Yes or no? Yeah, you must have already made your preparation a timetable, a study timetable. See, I'm not going to get into details of how to make your study timetable because, frankly, now is not that time. Your exams are in May 22. Right now it's already April. So mid-April, mid-May, there is only 1 month left. So I'm presuming that you must have already made your study timetable. But I can suggest some corrections in your study timetable. Yeah. So one common mistake which most people do is that, every time when you revise a certain subject, be it any subject, whether it is costing subject or taxation or law subject or any subject, what mistake most of students do is that every time you revise a subject, you always revise only the important parts. Most of the time you have already marked down certain important parts in every subject, and every time you revise only the important parts. Now tell me, if every time you revise only the important topics, so what about the unimportant topics? Your unimportant topics are never revised in a long, long time. You must have read them, studied them once, like many months ago, but you never revised it again because every time you sit for revision, you feel that these are less important. Let us skip that. Let us focus on the important part. CA exams are never difficult. Yes, I know you might be laughing out there, but CA exams, yes, they are never difficult, but they are unexpected. Those of you who have attended my class, I must have told you a million times that CA exams are not difficult, they are simply unexpected. Now tell me, what is the best way to tackle an unexpected paper? Come on, what is the best way to tackle an unexpected paper? Those of you who have attended my class, you must have known this. What is the best way to tackle an unexpected paper? Come on, talk to me. Well, yes, the best way to tackle an unexpected paper is not to expect anything. Exactly, yes, Deepa. Not to expect anything, rather, you prepare everything. See, what happens is every time when you revise only the important topics, so the unimportant topics never get revised. And if the unimportant topics are never revised, that unimportant topics come in the exam. And when that unimportant topics come in the exam, you will feel that the paper was difficult. Yes, so what I suggest this. What you can do is, see, your last day revision will be done before the exam, on the day before the exam. That last day revision, naturally you will be revising important topics. No option, because last day you cannot revise everything. So what I suggest is your second last revision, which probably you will be doing right now. Yes, right now, 1 month before the exam, probably you might be doing your second last revision. I suggest that in this second last revision, you revise, you focus more attention on the unimportant topics. Might as well revise only the unimportant topics right now, because you know that important topics, anyways, you're going to revise on the last day. So the unimportant topics you revise in the second last revision. By this strategy, you will realize that on the exam day, all topics will be covered. This is my first suggestion, and frankly, trust me, I believe this is the most useful suggestion. And this is actually rectifying most of your mistakes. Yeah. So first suggestion, second last revision, you cover all the unimportant topics, so that last revision you will anyways cover the important ones. Okay. Next, what to read? Well, the most common question which most of students have will be that, sir, what should we read? Well, simple. What to read? Well, you have to read, obviously, you have to read the class material. Yes, whatever class material I have given to you, or any faculty, whichever subjects you have been given, all the class material you have to read. Secondly, RTPs, past papers, yes, you can read, but do not read any new material in this last 1 month. Yes, this last 1 month before the exam, do not pick up any new material now. This last 1 month is for a revision. Revision means you read only those things which you have already read earlier. Yes, so now in this last month, do not pick up any new material. Yeah, yeah. So no new material in this last 1 month before the exam. Rather, what you must read is class notes, summary notes. I've told you in my class and in my book, in my subject especially, I know about my subject. In my subject, CA final costing subject, at the end of every chapter, I have given you summary notes. Yes. Plus, also let me announce that by the end of this month, I will be coming up with a revision series for the entire subject. Full subject revision I will be starting probably from 20 of April. From 20 April, yes, I'll be starting a full subject revision, and at that time, I will also give you revision notes. Okay? So that summary notes or revision notes is what you read, RTPs and past papers. Okay? But no new material to be read in last 1 month. Next, summary notes. Yes, summary notes become very useful for last day revision. For my subject, I have always given you summary notes. For those of you who have attended the fast track batch, your fast track book itself is a summary note. And for those of you who have attended regular batch, at the end of each chapter, I have given you summary notes. Okay? Plus, for other subjects, if you are here for study suggestions relating to other subjects, in every subject, you must have made some summary notes. Or maybe some faculty has given you that summary notes. That summary notes will be very, very useful for the last day revision. Your summary notes should be so exhaustive. It should be so exhaustive that it covers absolutely everything. Yes, it has to be very exhaustive such that it covers absolutely everything. You don't need to read anything else after that. Okay. Plus, you can write, I suggest you write some papers for like timing practice, because in CA final papers, time management is very important. I'll talk about time management in my next part. But to practice that time management, you can might as well try writing some papers. Don't worry about the paper checking. Don't even see the paper checking if you are giving institute mock papers and all. Just go and write the papers to see whether you are able to manage the time properly or not. Time management. Paper writing is only for the practice of time management. It is not to see how much knowledge you have. I repeat, paper writing practice is only for the time management and not to check your knowledge. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And last day, what should you revise on the last day? Well, last day, you revise concepts and formulas from the summary notes. Yes. You revise a few important questions. Not all, naturally, you will not have the time to revise all questions, but you will have some questions which are marked as important by you, important by the faculty. You revise those few important questions and all theory. Yes. For a practical subject like costing, on the last day, theory topics, all theory, I suggest you revise. Either you revise all the theory from the theory notes or you revise all the theory from the summary notes. But all theory you have to revise. But on that last day, now you don't have to read any past papers. See, last day, there is no meaning of studying the past papers. Past papers ka study you have done earlier, not on the last day. Okay? Yes, so that is the last day suggestions. Okay? This is regarding the pre-exam study strategy. Any questions here? Any questions up to here? If not, then I'll tell you about during exam strategy. Okay, so in exam answering strategy, like during the exam, how would you answer your papers? Now, this is again very important. See, during the exam, what things are important? During the exam, first of all, what is most important is your confidence. I suggest you walk into the exam hall with confidence, not with books. Yes, not with books. See, many suggestions here are my personal suggestions out of my personal experience. When you go to the exam hall, don't go to the exam hall with lots of books, because now, after reaching the exam hall, what will you do with books? Like, now is not the time to read. Now is the time to build your confidence. Now, at this last moment, this last 1 hour before the exam, that last 1 hour before the exam is not for reading. You might feel that, sir, something is left, let us finish that. Well, if something is left, it will always be left. Is that last 1 hour before the exam is not for reading, it is for building confidence. If something is left reading, forget it. Leave it. Tell yourself that even without reading it, I still remember it. Yeah, give confidence to yourself. Let it be fake confidence, but give that fake confidence to yourself that even though I have not read a few topics, don't worry, I will still be able to manage it. We'll do something. Jugaad kar lenge kuch. Yeah, so start telling yourself that last 1 hour before the exam, it's not for reading, it is for building your confidence. Yes, Kishan, how many pick paper should past paper should be solved for all 8 papers each? Kishan, the last 3 papers, last 3 exams, I would suggest you should refer. Yeah, last 3 attempts, not last 3 years, but last 3 attempt papers you should refer. See, Kishan, that last 3 attempts paper, whatever questions came in the last 3 attempt, definitely that same question is not gonna come back in your exam. Okay, it is not gonna come back in your exam, obviously. But still, I suggest you refer these past 3 papers because number one, it will give you some confidence. Number two, it will help you in a time management. And number three, most importantly, the reason why I ask you to study the past papers, the third and the most important reason is that If you have seen the past papers, it will create an experience of seeing papers. See, before that, you have never seen an ICAI paper. You must have seen only the class notes, study material, and all. But if you see the ICAI papers, it will create some impression. It will create an impression in your brain that yes, you have seen some papers. It will give you confidence. Same questions are not going to repeat, but still, you will have an experience of looking at the papers. The style they present the questions, the spacing in between how they present the questions, all that will also matter. So now, after looking at the past three papers, now when you see exam paper of your exam, you will not find that paper very surprising. At least the paper style, the paper format, you will find it familiar. Yes, that familiarity will bring confidence to you. Okay? That familiarity which you will see in the paper, that is what will bring confidence to you. Okay? Past three exam papers. So, number one, do not go to the exam hall with any books. Go with only confidence. Last day revision. Well, I told you to do the last day revision, but now I tell you, do not depend on it. You know, another mistake which most of you do is that you people are so much dependent on the last day revision, so much over dependent on that last day revision, such that if you are not able to revise something on the last day, then you will try to avoid that question in the exam. Am I right? Or am I right? Yes. So if you have not revised something on the last day, you will always feel underconfident in that particular topic, and you will try to skip or avoid that question in the exam. Well, that's why I suggest do not be over dependent on that last day revision. Tell yourself that whatever you have done before the last day, whatever you did in that second last revision, tell yourself that whatever you did in that second last revision, yes, that also you will remember. Tell yourself that you will remember that things done in the second last revision depend on your conceptual clarity. Be ready for new questions. When you go to the exam hall, don't walk into the hall thinking that all the questions will come out of what you have prepared. No, go with an open mind. Answer the paper with an open mind that yes, there will be new questions, and give yourself confidence that yes, you will be able to answer that new questions. Yes, so that's why do not completely over depend on the last day revision. Be ready for new questions always, because there will be and there should be. The exam papers, CA exam papers, especially CA final papers, I say have to be difficult. Yes, I would expect you to expect a difficult paper in the exam. Do not expect an easy paper in the exam. Think, if the paper turns out to be easy, then all your efforts, all your hard work will go waste. Because even those who have not done hard work will also pass. Think different. Yes or no? Yes, don't expect easy paper, expect a tough paper such that only you should pass, nobody else. Yeah, I will give the exam thinking that the paper has to be so tough that only I should pass, nobody else should pass. Be selfish in that sense, yes. Yes, don't expect easy paper, expect the toughest paper. Because trust me, you don't want to be called a chartered accountant who cleared an easy exam. Yes or no? You don't want to be called a chartered accountant who cleared an easy exam. You want to be called a chartered accountant who cleared the toughest exam in the world. Yes? So that's why don't depend on the last day revisions. Be ready for new questions. Next, time management. Very important. I must have told this in my regular class also. Again, I'm telling this. Time management very important, because most of the times students are not able to answer the entire paper. That is where majority of the students lose out. So write your paper with proper time management. And when I say time management means what? 20 marks is equal to 30 minutes. Every 20 mark question should be done in 30 minutes. After that, jump to the next question. Even if that question is half answered, even if this question is incomplete, yes, you heard me right, Listen clearly. Incomplete question, leave it incomplete, go to the next question. See the time which you spend in completing this question, if that same time you spend in doing a new question, it will give you more marks. Yes. Imagine if you are doing a question and you are almost done with the question. Say at the end of the question, you make a balance sheet. And after making the balance sheet, you realize that the balance sheet does not tally. It does not tally because of some stupid mistake. But if you spend 15 minutes in finding that stupid mistake, that 15 minutes is costing you heavily. You spend 15 minutes in finding mistake in the balance sheet. If that same 15 minutes you had given to a new question, it could have given you 10 marks extra. But that 15 minutes you spent in finding mistake, yes, you found the mistake, you tallied the balance sheet, you're so happy that yes, the balance sheet tallied. But if you had not tallied the balance sheet, if you had not found the mistake, then that mistake would have costed you hardly 2 marks. So imagine you're spending 15 minutes to save the 2 marks, because of which you're losing another 10 marks as you could not complete the paper. That's why I say the time that you spend in completing this question, if the same time you spend in a fresh question, it will give you more marks. See, if you have done a question and not completed it, if you have left a question incomplete, say 80% you have solved the question, only 20% part of the question is left incomplete. But still, if you have 80% solved the question, then the paper checker will get an impression that you know how to answer this question. The paper checker will get an impression that you know the concepts. He might give you marks. Of course, he will not give you full marks. He will cut some marks. But the marks that you lose in this question, more marks you can get in a fresh question. I've taught you relevant costing. I've taught you opportunity cost. This is exactly an example of opportunity cost. Yes, that 15 minutes time, if you spend extra on one question, in that same one question, you could have done a new question and got more marks over there. That's the opportunity cost. Yes, so I suggest 20 marks question, 30 minutes time you give. After 30 minutes, jump to the next question. Yes, if you follow this rule, then 100 marks question can be done in how many minutes? 20, 20, 20, 5 times. 100 marks questions can be done in 150 minutes. Total paper is of 180 minutes. So still 30 minutes extra time you will have. Yes, Saurabh. Thank you, Saurabh. Good that my suggestion will help you. So after this, still 30 minutes time will be left in your exam. That 30 minutes time, you can go back to the incomplete questions and try to finish whatever you can. Yes, if you follow this series, then last 30 minutes will be left. Maybe not 30, but at least 10 minutes will be left. Because when I say that in 30 minutes you skip to next question, you might not skip in exact 30. You might skip in 33 or 35 minutes. Okay. Still, at the end, you will have approximately, say, at least 10 to 15 minutes extra. Use that extra time to finish the incomplete questions which you have left. As many you can complete. Yes. Next, answering sequence. Again, another important part. Sequence, like how you should answer the questions in the exam. Well, first of all, I suggest that you have 15 minutes time in every paper, right? You are given a reading time in every paper, 15 minutes reading time. Use that reading time to decide sequence, how you will answer the paper. See, not necessary that you answer from question 1, then question 2, then question 3. No, you are getting the question paper 15 minutes early, right? Yeah. Use that time, go through the entire question paper, sit peacefully, sit back, read the question paper peacefully. You have 15 minutes, you cannot start writing. You have to just read the questions. So just go through the questions. Don't start solving. Just primarily go through all the questions and make a sequence at which question will you answer first based on your preparations, based on the chapters, the concepts which you have revised recently. Go through the paper and decide a sequence, that in what sequence will you answer the paper. That decision has to be taken in the first 15 minutes. Yeah. Then after you start answering in that sequence, don't then change your sequence. Okay. Also choose which options will you answer. At some places you will have options. That whatever option questions you have in these 15 minutes itself, you primarily select which options will you answer. Of course, thereafter, while answering those option questions, you might get stuck up and you might choose to answer another option. That's okay. But at least take a primary decision right now. Okay? Choose your option questions right now. And most important, my suggestion is that first you start by answering the tough questions. Of course, this is not a compulsory suggestion. You take a call, then don't blame me if you are not able to finish the paper. This is my suggestion. This is what I used to do, that I will first answer the tough questions. Why? Because during the first 1 hour in the exam hall, things are very peaceful, and at that time you can have the best concentration. The moment somebody in the exam hall, the moment somebody in your exam hall demands a supplementary, extra supplementary, yes, that's the moment when you start having tension. That's the moment when your pressure will increase. Yes, I'm writing the paper peacefully at my own pace, and suddenly in the exam hall somebody asks for supplementary. I'll be like, so soon? Chalo, abhi se? So soon? You finished the entire main supply? Wow. And that starts getting me worried that, oh, I have still so many pages to fill up. Yes, and once that pressure will start, then you might start losing concentration. So what I would do is, first I will always answer the toughest question, because in that first 1 hour I can concentrate well. Last 1 hour, last 30 minutes especially, last 30 minutes of the exam are chaotic. It is absolute chaos in the exam hall. Not that there is so much disturbance, but in that last 30 minutes, the examination pressure will be so high that I was not able to concentrate well. So what I would do is, I will first answer the tough questions, then go for the easy questions, and at the end I would answer some theory questions, or maybe those questions which does not need much brain work. Yeah, but make it a point that you still complete the entire paper, and for that purpose the time management strategy would work. See, this strategy and this strategy will go hand in hand. If you are following this strategy, then it is compulsory to jump to next question when that 30 minutes time is done. Otherwise, imagine you start with tough questions, and by the time you reach the easy question, your time is up. So easy questions itself, you lose it off. Don't do that. So this strategy comes along with this strategy. Please do follow that. And sequence, sub questions. All the sub questions inside the question has to be answered together. I hope you know that. Yeah, these are some basic exam rules that, in fact, you must have done since your school days. Yeah, question 1 has A, B, C, D. So within question 1, all A, B, C, D has to be answered together. You can answer A, B, C, D. You can answer B, C, D, A. You can answer B, A, C, D, whatever sequence, but it has to be together. Okay? And very important, full 100 marks paper you have to answer. See, don't be under the impression that, sir, I answered 80 marks paper, but I have answered it very nicely. See, if you answer 80 marks paper, no matter how nicely you answered it, imagine you answered only 80 marks paper. So whatever you expect, minus 20 marks karo usme. 20 marks you have not even answered. Bloody, it is difficult to pass even after answering full 100 marks paper. How do you expect to pass answering only 80 marks paper? No chance. Might sound very rude in that, but yes, no chance. Full 100 marks paper you have to answer. Chalo, I can give you some grace in that. Maybe 95. 5 marks, maybe you are not able to finish, or maybe you don't know the answers. Okay. In fact, I would say, whether you know the answer or you don't know the answer, still you write the answer. Even that 5 mark question, I don't know what the hell have they asked. I have absolutely no idea what they have asked. Still, you write something. Bluff, but you write something. It's okay. It's okay to bluff rather than leaving it blank. Yes or no? Yeah. I understand that for theory questions, it will be easy to bluff. For practical questions are how to bluff. ठीक है, even if it is a practical question, do some random calculations and write rather than leaving it blank. Full 100 marks paper you have to answer. Now, yes, these are your strategies during the exam, in exam strategy. I hope you understand this and I hope this makes sense to you. Yes. Let me know any questions here. Third part, paper writing tips. Simple suggestions, paper writing tips. Again, these paper writing tips are basically from your school days. So I am very sure that you should already know this, but still, I'll brush through that. Always new questions on a new page. Don't continue any new question on the same page. In fact, even sub question on a new page. See, you have paid the exam fees, vasool karo. You have paid exam fees for the exam, fill up supplementaries. It's okay. Yeah, new questions always on a new page. Saurabh, how to cover theory of SCMP? Saurabh, I'll come to that. Just wait. Another suggestion, leave blank pages in between if you plan to answer sub questions later on. Sub questions, I told you that all the sub questions should be answered together, but if you're not ready to answer it now, leave a blank page and then go further. Later, when you plan to do that sub question, come back to the blank page and finish that. Okay, so if you plan to do the sub questions later, leave blank pages for that. But very important, if you are leaving blank pages, do not forget to cancel. Put a cancellation mark on the blank pages at the end of the paper. Like after finishing the exam, at the end of your time, before the end of your time, whatever blank pages you have left in between, make sure to cancel it and write PTO after that. Yeah, because if the paper checker will see a blank page in between, he might feel that okay, you are done writing. He might not even turn the pages further and see that you have written further answers. Possible. Leave no chance there. If you have left some blank pages, cancel the page and request him to turn over, continue it further. Okay? And make margins on all pages naturally. Both side margins you have to make. Yes, left side, right side, both the side you make some margins. Don't ask me that, sir, why both side? One side is fine. No. Make margins on both sides. I'll not explain that, but follow me. Believe me in that. Trust me on that. Yes, you make margins on both the side. And when you make margins, I say you leave margin on both sides. What many people do is that you make a margin and you write 1,000 things inside the margin then. Well, when I say leave margins means leave it. Really don't write anything inside the margin, not even the question number. In fact, question number is the most important part of your answer. Don't write it inside the margin. No. You write it in the center of the page with big font, decorated. Yes, question number you write at the center of the page, top center. Center of the page at the top, you write the question number. Don't write it on the sides in the margin or all. Margin, you have to leave. Completely leave that margin blank. Yes. And then certain specific tips for SCMP paper. Saurabh, how to cover theory of SCMP? Saurabh, for theory, just read the theory to understand. You don't have to memorize the theory of SCMP. See, for a subject like law, taxation and all, you have to memorize many things in the theory. Audit, you have to memorize many things in the theory. But costing theory, you don't have to memorize many things. You just have to understand all the theory. Of course, In certain topics, I've given you the summary notes, headings. I suggest you memorize all headings from the summary notes. Yes, you memorize. That will give you confidence that you know the theory. See, imagine if you just memorize all the headings, all the subtopic, topic, and subtopic headings. If you memorize all the headings, it will definitely give you confidence that you remember the theory. That confidence is enough. Certain specific tips for costing paper. Well, one tip I have always given you in my regular class: write explanations for each question, especially for practical questions. See, don't answer your questions in costing paper. Don't answer as if you are answering CA inter-level costing. No, final level costing is different. At final level, your costing answers are not just to reach an answer. Don't answer your paper just to calculate and reach an answer. Whatever answer you give, you have to explain every step of your answer. If you have attended my class, if you have seen my notes, I have even given you written notes regarding how to write explanation in every chapter. Yes, for every chapter separately, I have told you in the class that how to write explanations, how to write analysis. Yes or no? Yeah, follow that. That is very important. Write analysis, write explanation for every answer, even for practical questions. For theory questions, obviously you have to write explanation. For case studies, I've given you guidelines in my class. Yes, I've given you detailed guidelines in my class that how to answer case studies. I cannot cover all those guidelines right now. You can refer my notes for that. Yes, in all my notes, you will have the guidelines regarding how to answer case studies. Okay, and those of you who don't have my notes, you can join my Telegram channel. I have shared all my notes on my Telegram channel also. Okay, and also join my Telegram discussion group to get in touch with me to ask me any questions. Answer as if you are giving recommendation to a client. So you don't answer as if you are answering a paper. Don't answer as if you are solving questions. No, you answer as if you are already a qualified chartered accountant. Yes, imagine you are already a qualified chartered accountant. You are sitting in your office. A client walks into your office with a business problem. A client comes to your office with a business problem, and you are helping your client to solve a business problem. I've told this to you in my regular class also. Again, I'm telling this to you. For costing paper, especially, you answer the paper as if you are a practicing chartered accountant and you are giving recommendation to your client. You don't give calculation to your client. You explain that to the client. You suggest him, give him recommendations to your client. That's how you answer the costing paper. Yes, this is for CA final. For CA inter students, calculations are enough. CA inter costing paper is very simple. First calculate karo, answer lao, that's it. Nothing more required. But CA final is more tricky. It is more about your explanations. It's more about your analysis that you write. Okay? And in conclusion, well, many times what happens is that out of 8 papers in CA final, it might very well happen that maybe one paper goes weak. If one paper goes weak, please do not let that affect your next paper. Don't let that affect the next paper. Those of you attended my regular class, maybe I told you the story about one girl in my class in my CA final exam. I tell you that during my CA final exam, there was a girl in the classroom. While writing the paper, she fainted. She fell on the floor and there was a loud sound. All of us who were busy writing, we just looked up and we saw that she was flat on the ground. She fainted while writing the paper, maybe because of some health issues or something. The supervisor came, tried to wake her up. She woke up, and the supervisor called another help, and the help took her outside, and she was out from the exam hall. We thought that gone, chalo, she'll not come back. But to my surprise, in last 45 minutes, Last 45 or last 1 hour was remaining for the exam, and in that last 1 hour remaining, she came back and she wrote the paper. Trust me, that needs a lot of guts. You missed one entire hour in the exam. For a person like me, it was difficult to finish the paper in even 3 hours, and this girl, she missed 1 hour in the exam. And still she had the guts to come back and finish the paper. See, I don't know whether she passed or not. If she cleared the exam or not, I don't know. But one thing, I took inspiration from her, that no matter how bad your position is, don't let that affect your further attempt. She came back, she wrote the paper, and she was present for every next paper after that. That needs guts, that needs courage. No matter what happens in this paper, do not let that affect your next paper. See, during the exam, you might feel that if you make one small tiny mistake also, then also you will feel that, oh bloody, I've done everything wrong. That happens. That happens because when you are writing the paper, you might be under the expectation that you will be answering everything correctly. But if one small thing goes wrong, you will feel that everything I've written wrong. No, that's not the story. That's not the case. Trust me, your mindset in the exam is so wavering, you yourself should not trust it. Yes. So if something goes bad in one paper, tell yourself it's okay. Next paper, I will recover. In fact, for a person like me, if one paper goes weak, it will give me even more confidence, more strength in the next paper. Because if one paper has gone weak, then I have to recover that in the next paper. It should be giving you more strength, more confidence, more preparations in the next paper. Yes. Second, another issue with many students is that you keep wondering about, sir, how will be the paper checking? How will be the results? Will it be easy? Will it be tough? A couple of years back, many students were complaining about the ICAI paper checking method. Well, chalo, there might have been some issues in the ICAI paper checking, but I would suggest that you worry about the things that are in your control. Don't worry about the things which are not in your control. Rather, worry about the things which are in your control. What is not in your control? Paper checking is not in your control. Whether paper will be tough, whether paper will be easy, not in your control. Don't worry about it. Don't even think about it. There is no such thing as easy paper and tough paper. There is no such thing as easy checking and tough checking. These are all the myths created by the people, by the students. I suggest you stay away from all these myths. Don't worry about the things that are not in your control. Worry about the things which are in your control. What is in your control? Your preparations. Worry about the things which are in your control. Your preparation is in your control. Bloody worry about that. In fact, make your preparations so strong, absolutely so strong, that no matter how tough the paper checking is, still you will not fail. Imagine, who will worry about tough paper? Who will worry about tough checking? Well, those students who are on the borderline, 40 marks passing, 50 marks passing. If you are on the borderline, then you worry about tough checking, tough paper. But no, my students are not on the borderline. You guys are not supposed to be on the borderline. You are supposed to be in the range of 70 marks, 60 marks, 70 marks, 80 marks. And if 60, 70 is your target, if 70 marks is your target, no matter how tough the paper is, no matter how tough the checking is, that 70 might go down to 60. It will never go down till 40. Yes or no? Yes. So don't worry about the paper checking. Rather, raise your level so high that it is difficult for the paper checker to fail you. And that's why these all suggestions. Yes. Tell me, does these suggestions make sense to you? Hemant, and yes, any questions, please now shoot. I'm done with my discussions of your questions. Yes, Hemant. Sir, I had taken up August 21 evening batch classes on Unacademy, which got completed in November 21. Are there any additional questions or updates for May 22 exams? No, Hemant. From August 21 to May 22, there are absolutely no significant changes. But Hemant, I would suggest that last three exam papers you should refer. Yeah. So before May 22, last three exam papers, there were November 21 exam, July 21 exam, and before that, November 20 or January 21 exam. Last three exam papers you should refer. Yes, Hemant? Uh, Minakshi, what about the timing of revision class? Minakshi, I have not yet decided the timing of the revision class. You can tell me any time suitable to you. You can give your suggestion. I'll make my decisions accordingly. Most probably, I will keep it in the evening, say 4 to 6 or so. Or any more questions, please tell me. Deepa, yes, we can have one. I think you wanted one, so we will have another doubt solving session, not specifically for fast track batch, but it will be a general doubt solving for everyone. Say we'll do it after the revision series. Okay? After the revision series, we'll have a session for doubt solving for all students altogether. We had one last month. By the end of this month, we'll have another one. Okay? It'll be a free class, special class on an academy. You can join my Telegram channel, Telegram group. You'll get announcements for that. Done? Okay, so I think that's all with my side here. So all the best to all of you. I hope you will be coming out with flying colors in the exam, and do keep me posted with your exam preparations, with your problems, with your queries, anything on my Telegram channel, on my Telegram group. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Good night. Thank you. Thank you very much.